and welcome to Business Masters Season 2 on WION World is One. I'm Kanishka Sarkar and today we are joined by Rajesh Chandiramani, the whole-time director and CEO of Comviva, a global tech player at the forefront of digital payments and customer experience. Now, from leading roles at Tech Mahindra to now steering Comviva's ambitious push towards a $2 billion valuation, Rajesh Chandiramani is driving what he calls Comviva 2.0. In this conversation with Mr. Chandiramani, we'll decode leadership, scale, AI innovation, and the roadmap to becoming a global product powerhouse. Hi, Mr. Chandiramani. Thank you so much for joining us on WION today.
Thank you, Kanishka, for inviting me to this WION Business Masters. I'm privileged.
Pleasure to have you. And sir, let's talk about your journey at Comviva. You took the helm somewhere in June 2024. Take us through your journey. Tell us what was the mandate that you gave yourself back on the first day. What were the big changes that you wanted to bring around?
So, Kanishka, when I joined Comviva from Tech Mahindra, and it's a 100% owned subsidiary of Tech Mahindra, part of the Mahindra Group, we always watched this company from a distance because it was a completely platform play and serving the telecom and the BFSI segment at scale globally. We walked in and the company was pretty much centered around doing business in Middle East, Africa and Asia. One of my charter was to actually make the platforms ready for the growth markets. The clear direction was that we have to take some of the best products we have from these emerging markets to the growth markets, which is Americas, Europe, Australia. And that was the first mandate. I think the second mandate, as we saw, because the company has a legacy of, since we inherited from Mr. Sunil Bharti Mittal as Bharti Telesoft, was to scale up the platforms across verticals. And that is where the focus was to actually build platforms which are future ready. So that was the second mandate, which was embedding a lot of SaaS, artificial intelligence and cloud. Again, I think we have a great opportunity to serve the global market from products made in India for the globe.
Right. You were speaking about the markets that you've worked in and that Comviva operates in. You have a lot of experience in Europe and Asia. Tell us, how did your experience in these global markets help you shape what is Comviva 2.0 today?
So I think from a Comviva perspective, the platforms had the scale because most of the population are in this part of the world, right? In Asia, in Africa, India. I mean, that's where we originate from. So the platform at scale, they never had a reach to the advanced market. So me coming in, running businesses across the globe, whether it was in Capgemini or with Tech Mahindra for decades, I think that brought in an instant connect for the customers to be able to leverage the platform, which we have built at scale. I think the platforms now and in last 2 years have been extremely made ready for those growth markets and demonstrating a good business return for us.
Right. You're already, a leader in the emerging market space. But when you go to the developed markets, how do you become a leader over there, not just remain a player? How are you looking to become a leader in the developed markets? How are you going to flip that script? Because even the biggest of businesses, they often struggle to become developed businesses in the bigger markets. So what is your plan over there?
So I think two things. First of all, since I've worked in those markets, there is a lot of credibility as a leader, and the companies which have trusted upon me for billions of dollars of their businesses. Okay, I've worked across with tier 1 telcos, tier 1 banks in these markets. The second pedigree which we have is Tech Mahindra, which is a $6.5 billion going up to $7 billion of business in these markets. And 85% of the business comes from these markets. So these are two very, very strong levers which I have been exercising. And last 8 quarters, since I have been on the helm of making Comviva a successful global company, majority of our businesses are coming from Americas, Europe, Australia. So I think we are getting recognized, a platform with scale, which has delivered capacities, in the emerging worlds, and we just made the platform ready for the growth markets.
Right. We'll talk about expansion in just a bit. You were mentioning that your parent company, the promoter company, is Tech Mahindra. So, having a backing like that, how do you maintain that startup energy still at Comviva? How do you scale from there?
See, first of all, the product mindset, we are the only product mindset unit within Tech Mahindra. And I think that is protecting us and enabling us to go big. One of the things which went when I was discussing with Tech Mahindra board for this job was my experience of working in a product company for a long time. So before Tech Mahindra, I worked for a very strong equivalent company from Israel, Converse, and which was pretty much same set of products. So that experience and the reach in the global market has helped me take the company faster. We have kept the business arm's length in terms of not being able to get influenced by a large IT setup, because we are a product company. However, I constantly use Tech Mahindra as my scaled up partner when I want to onboard flexible resources or some expertise which a product company may lack when we do large system integration projects. So originally Comviva was more a product deploy and install and run. Now we are taking some of the large transformation projects. So we have one couple of large transformation projects in America, in Europe. We've just signed a very large transformation project in Thailand and in Australia. Now that gives us the scale of using Tech Mahindra as a very strong system integrators partner. We also work with other channels, but Tech Mahindra gives us the wings to fly.
Correct. Tech Mahindra gives you the wings to fly. I was reading your LinkedIn profile as well, and you say that your philosophy is to think big, execute at scale, and deliver outcomes, right? So tell me, how are you applying that specific scale mindset to a company, Comviva, that is looking at a $2 billion valuation by FY29?
So, Kanishka, I think one of the most important part for the valuation will be we continue the growth journey, which we have demonstrated both to TechM and the Mahindra Group in the last 8 quarters. We have been growing successfully as one of the fastest growing unit within the parent group. And that's all because we were able to demonstrate that we have a good customer understanding. We deliver on what we talk, so we walk the talk. And then, scale was never a problem for Comviva because, when you serve a Jio in India or a Vodafone or an Airtel in India and Africa, they have hundreds of millions of customers and there isn't an equivalent at par market. When I serve a SBI and an ICICI in India, the amount of customers we serve is unparalleled to any other market in the world. So the scale was already there. I think what was important was also getting a technology edge because the growth markets consumes the best of the technologies when it comes to, you see Silicon Valley and we have won contracts in Canada, in Seattle, in Atlanta, Mexico, and we are doing large-scale transformation in those countries as well. And I think embedding some of the best technology partners. So we had, when I walked into the job, I onboarded 2 very strong partners. They were Microsoft and AWS.
Right.
Okay, they actually taught us how technology can be embedded fast within the culture. Culture change was a big change when you are a legacy platform player. To today, we are the largest digital platform player from India. I think it was those partners who helped us scale up.
Right. So let's for the scale up. You said scaling, of course, is the key, but that was already there, and technology edge is what you brought in. But, you're looking at a $2 billion valuation by FY29. Tell me, is going public also on the cards anytime soon, and what's the vision like for, say, the next 3 to 5 years?
I think going public live certainly is an outcome which we would like to have, or I would like to have for this company. We are governed by the parent, the grandparent Mahindra, and the Tech Mahindra. And a lot of what Mahindra is doing is at scale now. You look at the products, they're all meant for global. I worked Tech Mahindra enough where we were the only shining global company. But today Mahindra has too many shining companies, the tractor, the auto business, and the agri business. So that is actually getting us an edge globally from a brand of Mahindra. Yes, we want to continue from next 3 years perspective, the growth, capturing the market share and the mind share of some of the large banks, retails. We are diversifying into retail. And of course the telecom. One of the guidances I got from Mr. Mittal when I met him after I took on the job was that how many telcos do you work with today? And I said 200. And he said, but there are out there 2,000 telcos. So just having good focus on these three verticals will get us a high growth, a very high valuation, and a platform from India which will make the world proud of us.
Yeah. So you were talking about different verticals. So with Horizon 2.0, I believe you're entering a lot of non-telco verticals as well. So tell us, which ones are you more bullish on right now, especially in markets like India?
So I think we have already won a very large engagement with one of the tier 1 parcel provider, which was basically help them. That was my first large entry into the enterprise world in the Americas market.
Yeah.
We are going to enhance that capability further and become the largest player in the API marketplace. So there is a bit of a war between the telcos and the enterprise, like the Googles of the world. Who's going to win the API market? Yeah, because enterprise would need a lot of integration into the networks. So there we have a dominant player with a partner called Aduna. They have selected Comviva technology for the global fiber for API marketplace. Is part of Ericsson framework. That gets us into the platter with the likes of this company we have signed the business with. The other thing which we have been dominant is on the MarTech front, where we are the largest MarTech player in the telecom industry. We are diversifying and taking that product into the retail industry and CPG. So those are the two expansions. We already into the banking. I have 50 bank clients across the globe. We have just won a few more payment orchestration deals in India. We call it the MobiQT One, where we will become the master orchestrator for all the payments. You have heard about RuPay and those are the kind of companies we are competing. But our game plan is to take these products to the advanced markets.
Right, so you want to take those products to the advanced markets. You were also talking about SaaSifying products and also the retail markets that you are now entering. So tell me, in a world where AI is a hype, how is it becoming a reality in your operations? One is that. And how does a Comviva-driven AI product really change the ROI for a customer, both for a B2B and B2C customer?
So look, we have been, so when I walked into this job, I did realize, which was 2.5 years back, I did realize that we were very busy serving the emerging markets, which probably were not, AI and SaaS was not as hyped. But now the whole world is hyped on AI, okay? And as a leading digital technology player, we cannot be ignorant about it. So the moment I walked in, we ensured every employee, we have 3,500 employees in the company, is getting trained on AI. So they are adapting the latest tools and technologies. We have decided that we are going to play AI on three strategies. One is using AI to have a zero ticket operations. So I have a 600 people follow the sun model where AI has been inhibited in terms of making all the tickets go zero, which means better quality of software being deployed across the globe. I have 400 installations across the globe. The second vector we have is actually using a lot of AI to make the software faster and cheaper. So there are a lot of tools which we are using like GitHub and the famous Anthropic. We are experimenting with those. And the third most important is being a digital technology platform company, we have to have UI case studies. So every product, I have 14 platforms. Every product is now pivoting its product roadmap on artificial intelligence. And some of the products like MarTech, which is ahead on AI curve, I've already built 139 pre-built AI models for telco industry. I'm going to do the same for retail. I'm going to do the same for the API space as well.
Right. Lots happening, it seems. So how do you speed that execution, especially having Tech Mahindra, which is a multi-billion-dollar parent company, as you pointed out? How do you speed execution at Comviva?
So, Kanishka, I think we have a very good relationship with Tech M being a parent company. But being a product company like a SAP or a Salesforce, we have to be agnostic to a partner.
Yeah.
So we have a very strong partner plan. We are onboarding some of the large tier 1 system integrators, the likes of Accenture, NTT, Capgemini and others. We are already working with some of the big partners like TCS and others in various markets. So Tech Mahindra definitely gives us a big play in terms of credibility, the scale and presence, where we are not present being a relatively smaller company. But also it gives us a play to compete with some of the big ones. I mean, my recent wins in the product play has been with some of the top companies like Amdocs and Netcracker and Salesforce and Pega Systems. They have been there for ages, and we are winning because we have a parent like Tech Mahindra and partners like Accenture and NTT and others.
All right, fighting with the big boys in the market then. So, you were mentioning how you have operations in the West Asia region as well. So just against the backdrop of the war that we have seen, tell us, how were you able to, at Comviva, insulate your business against what's happening, and what's the situation like? If you could just give us a little bit of window into how employees are doing over there. What's the situation like?
Sure. So I think we operate across all Middle East and Africa countries, because that's where the company originated, from India to Africa to Middle East. And this war was certainly a very big concern, but we are supporting businesses who are 24/7.
Right.
The telcos and the banks have to work 24/7. We have people there in more or less all the countries. We are following what our customers are following in terms of the policies. We have no other choice but to support them 24/7. And we are taking a very pragmatic view, balancing what an individual feels versus what the company wants.
Correct.
And it's a big HR admin effort in terms of deporting people or getting people back to their home countries if they don't feel. Customers have been very flexible on the way we work. I mean, COVID has taught us how we can work remotely and still be as effective. So I think we are following what customer wants us to do. We are a very customer-centric organization, and at the same time we are protecting where the employees are feeling scared or troubled, and supporting the business 24/7.
Right. You were saying, COVID taught us a lot of things. But what have been your biggest learnings so far from the war that we saw in West Asia? And what's the outlook as far as, protecting Comviva from such kind of external shocks is concerned?
So I think, these kind of situations, no one can protect themselves or plan ahead. It was a big surprise when it happened, whenever it happened. And we monitor the situation very, very closely. We do have a very good guidance, because both Mahindra and Tech Mahindra has a global business. They have presence all over. So anytime, every time, there was also Project Sindoor which happened, right? And India became a big question mark, because there are so many technology companies supporting the businesses across the globe.
Correct.
But it went on because the connectivity is there, the customer confidence is there. So we are using the whole ecosystem to our help. There's nothing which can stop us serve a customer, because we are extremely, Mahindra Group is an extremely customer-centric organization, so is TechM, and we leverage the power of a bigger organization to move things around.
Let's hope for the best then. And, let's also talk about your legacy now. Now, you're targeting a $2 billion valuation by FY29. When we come back and sit here in FY29, tell us, what would you want your legacy as a CEO to be? What would be the message that you want to pass on?
I think Comviva has a huge potential, and we have seen it in last 8 quarters. A great set of people, great set of technology platforms, great set of customers. Some of these customers, anyone would give their arm and length to have them, and we have them. So we are very proud when we have such tier 1 customers across banking and telecom industry. FY29, I'm very confident the team is, the way we are performing, we will be able to reach that milestone and create that value for Tech Mahindra and Mahindra. We are also very confident that we will be shaping the platforms, leveraging AI and SaaS and cloud, building platforms which will challenge some of the tier 1 platform players who have had a long legacy, because we are still not that big. I'm sure we'll get big by the time we get FY 2029. But we still have that flexibility, the wings of Tech Mahindra and the brand of Mahindra & Mahindra, which is helping us grow faster and quicker.
Yeah. Okay. So that's about what's happening right now and the future that we are looking at. But if you could go back to, say, 1991, when you started as a newbie product engineer, then also went on to take up sales roles, I believe. So what would your message be to your 20-year-old self or the current younger generation who's aspiring to become entrepreneurs and enter the corporate world? What would your message be to yourself, your younger self, and to the younger generation now?
Okay, I mean, I have a 27-year-old son who takes guidance and he guides me as well. Yeah. He's a tech player as well. And, for me, when I started in 91, it wasn't as competitive. It wasn't as electric as it is today. I mean, today is the generation who lives by, if I was living by hours, they live by seconds. Everything is 1 second old is no more an important thing for them. So highly competitive, extremely real time. And, for being relevant, it is very important for the youngsters to not be afraid of technology. They are not. Our young generation is absolutely more confident than what my young generation used to be. Yeah. My guidance would be stay fearless, think big, scale up, and welcome technologies. They are going to come and disrupt the way we do things and the way we consume things in the world. I mean, it's extremely fast pace. I mean, who would have thought a mobile phone would consume 30 different services on one device, right? Yeah. From a camera to a social media to everything. So I think the world is getting faster and very, very competitive. So you just have to keep on your toes and get things going.
Right, one must keep on their toes and the world is getting faster, like you said. But, there's also a need to slow down, of course, at the end of the day. So after so many years, 35 years almost, what is it that still keeps you going? One is that. And the second thing I want to ask is, how do you wind down? What happens at the end of your day? What are your weekends like?
So I think, first of all, doing a job as the CEO of the company, serving global market is not easy. I'm quite a lot, many times on the road. I learn from my customers, and this has been my passion. I think what goes me going is my customers who give me a problem statement to solve, and I come back and make the company ready to solve the biggest problem. And I always believe if you solve the biggest problem, then small problems get solved by themselves. And that's how we focus the organization. I think, how do I wind down? I have a good set of friends. My family is very close to me. So spending my weekend and evenings with the family and my closest friends, going out, holiday, camping is how I wind. I don't get it so often, but whenever I get a chance, I do that with my family and friends.
Speaking of that, you go out with family and friends in times when we have debates going around about work balance, work-life balance. What is your take on that? How many hours a week you think is a non-negotiable for anyone to succeed in their careers?
So I think it was a very easier question in the old age.
Yeah.
I mean, today people are getting, for instance, my son, the amount of AI he is taking on, and he was talking about Anthropic Cloud. And he says that his productivity has gone up by 3 hours on what it was in the previous versions of cloud. Now, if that is the kind of productivity which is coming in with the tools we have, I think we will get a better balance. Yes, the world is faster, but yet, yes, there are tools which will make us give more time to what we want to do. In our leisure, in our passion to continue with our personal passions and priorities of life. And I think one of the conversation I had with one of very senior, so I had a Sunday morning breakfast with a very senior professional from the Americas, visiting home in Mumbai. And one of the things she talked about is the experience or the capability to manage bots. Because if you get smarter bots to do your work, you have more time in hand to plan for high quality of work to be delivered.
Absolutely. Right. And lastly, before we let you go, this is a time when a lot of youngsters are planning for early retirement. That's how they are planning their goals. Their financial management is such. But what does that timeline look like for you? Hope it's not very soon. And once that happens, what is it on the cards? Have you decided on anything, traveling, teaching, anything when you get out of that corporate suit?
So, Kanishka, I'm already into planning my, whenever it happens in 8-10 years' time, I'm already into planning. I'm already onboarded with some of the NGOs. I focus on the medical quality of life. So I'm attached to one of the largest dialysis chain as an advisor on their board. I'm also, trustee of a foundation which works on, helping people who can't afford medical support. I think at some stage I'm building my life to give it back to the society. Society has been very, very good to me. I've been successful, fortunate to know what happens in the globe with my job coming in. I think it's time to give it back, and I think a lot of people in India are doing that, which is what will make the nation to be great.
Yeah.
And I think I'll continue on that journey and hopefully build something which is having more meaning and helping India balance the poor and the rich.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chandiramani, for joining us on WION Business Masters Season 2 today and helping us understand what your leadership and growth outlook looks like at Comviva.
Thank you very much to WION and Kanishka, to yourself, for inviting me to the Business Masters. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, big ideas, bold bets, and the road to scale. That was Rajesh Chandiramani of Comviva for you. That's all in this edition of Business Masters Season 2. I'm Kanishka Sarkar. I'll take your leave. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned to WION. World is One for more such conversations.